Good day. This is your Harvard House Money Morsel, and I'm Willie Pelser, filling in the seat this morning for Robin. Welcome back to another edition. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And this morning we're sitting with Jana. Jana, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, Willie.
Yeah, Jana, as the retail analyst, or you're sort of responsible for the retail sector for Harvard House's research capabilities, it's a long time that we'll have to wait for updates from the likes of Mr. Price and Woolies and so on and so on. So in the meantime, are there a few things that you see in the retail space that makes you excited or makes you concerned?
Yes, there is, Willie. So one of the data points that we track is BankservAfrica's Economic Transaction Index. It's called the BT Index. So that tracks all the electronic transactions that were completed on a monthly basis. For a couple of months, that has been very stagnant. But the last two data points, which was May and June, we saw an uptick in the activity.
Mm-hmm.
So one nice thing about the BT is that it is a good leading indicator of where we expect the economic growth for our country is heading. So we expect that the GDP number might be a bit more positive than the first quarter's GDP growth of 0.1%. And another thing that we track is the Reserve Bank's disposable income for households, their expenditure, their savings, and then the cost of servicing their debt to disposable income. So if you cast your mind back to 2022, we had our Reserve Bank governor raising our repo rate very quickly because he needed to counter our high inflation. So the household disposable income was starting to be less than expenditure. So because of that, servicing your debt was getting higher and higher.
Expensive.
So savings started tracking down from 2022, and 2023 that was below zero. So that's not a good sign. That just shows you that our consumers were under pressure. But what's nice now is because of the repo rate coming down, having less cost of debt to service, we see that savings, even though it's still negative, is tracking positive.
Yep.
So those are some green shoots that we see that the consumer health is starting to improve.
Yeah, I must say I was quite surprised to see that sort of savings rate ticking up a bit. But yeah, that's what one needs in the country. So yeah, and I also saw the retail sales number came out. Now, the thing with stats, they always say it's either below or above expectations. This one was so-called below expectations. But a standout again was the clothing, textile, footwear subcategory within retail sales. What did you read into this release?
So Kantar had some nice consumer trend behaviors.
Now, Kantar is a private company just
Yes.
tracking consumers.
Yes, it's a global research company. So they gave us some data on the SA consumer behavior and what are they spending their money on, what are they not spending their money on. So obviously in the past, our consumer we know has been under pressure. So we changed our behaviors to try and save money. So the one thing that they said was that people were holding back on spending to wait for savings like Black Friday. One of the obvious things was less discretionary spending. That's why we still like our value retailers. So less luxury, less restaurants, rather opting for cheaper takeaways and less alcohol spent. Another thing was the, I'm trying to think now, online gambling was a bit of a concern because they showed sources of income. Obviously, salaries is high up, grants is high up, but one of the high ones was online gambling as a source of income. And if you look at the airports and the amount of advertising that is spent at airports, it's actually shouldn't come to a surprise. So it's just a bit concerning. Then right at the bottom of sources of income, which was a surprise to me, was loyalty programs as a source of income. So it just shows you that these companies are spending a lot, or they're investing a lot to grow their loyalty programs. So consumers are looking for digital platforms for value, for products that are on specials, for the convenience of it. And what's nice for the big retailers is that these loyalty programs is a good source of data for them. Data sourcing is what they call it. That helps make sure that the stock that's on the shelves are
so what
correct.
they catch you with in that aisle.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And also that helps them with efficiency and cost savings.
Yeah, and I think that just shows the magnitude of South Africa's leadership, in companies like this, come up with innovation in a time where there's no economic growth. So, we touched last week a little bit on the informal sector in South Africa, or the emerging economy, whatever we want to call it. Is there something new that also just make you happy to see that we're happy to hold these retail shares that we have in clients' portfolios?
Yes, definitely. There was, we know that the informal market is, there's so much value unlock that's waiting there for the big companies. So with the digital platforms, the big companies are struggling to crack that nut, but take a lot. What they've been very innovative with their digital platform. They've created a program that a person can register themselves as a economic hub. So their friends and family can order through them, and it gets delivered to their house.
So at the Gogo's house, you can go.
Yes, and that person gets commission. So it just shows you that the entrepreneurial spirit in those areas are so rife, and there's so much value that our big retailers can unlock in those areas.
Comes back to that point on the unemployment. There are actually more people employed than what we know. Jana, thank you for that. It was concerning. I saw something this morning, a little photo saying that some people have more hope in winning on Betway than having a job, and that's concerning. But it is a new source of income for some people. So thank you for that. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.